So, AI agents is a term that is pretty popular right now, and there's a lot of misconceptions as to what they are going around. So, in this video, I want to define what are AI agents, what are the current capabilities of AI agents, how fast are these capabilities improving, and what are the long-term effects of this technology. And then, given this information, I will be providing an intellectual thought experiment as to what this means for us as humans and how we should be allocating our attention to ensure we have a valuable place in society. And then I'll explain how I'm allocating my personal attention and the things that I am focusing on, so maybe you can have some ideas from what I share. And also, if you're interested in joining a free community where we talk about everything related to AI, you can join in the top link in the description below. It is completely for free. That being said, let's get into the video. So, AI agents are computer systems that can process natural language, in other words, English, and from those inputs, go take actions and complete tasks in the real world or in virtual environments. And in looking at this from a fundamental level, instead of you doing specific niche tasks, you can simply tell AI to do those tasks for you, meaning you now have a layer of abstraction from doing those tasks yourself, and your only task becomes telling AI to do tasks. So fundamentally, you never do tasks yourself besides actually telling AI to do tasks ever again, because it would be a waste of your time, because you will be less efficient and less effective at completing them. And in theory, this would 10 or 20x your output. And a good example of a very sophisticated AI agent system would be like a self-doing to-do list. You just make a list of tasks that you need to get done, and the AI agent does the tasks as you populate the to-do list. So what are the current capabilities of AI agents? So our current models are known as large language models, which this is generative AI. In other words, they are high quality chatbots, image generators, and video generators. With our current AI, you can use natural language or English to prompt this AI to generate text, generate images, and generate videos. And we can make large language models or generative AI seem agentic by setting up certain automations that make API calls to specific softwares. And we can then use that to automate specific tasks such as data organization, prompt generation, and even just content generation as a whole. And then even going and doing research, creating an entire piece of content, and then posting it onto a social media platform 100% autonomously. That is something we can currently do just with large language models or generative AI, but it's not like an actual AI agent that does it. You have to set up a system with a variety of API calls to make generative AI complete an autonomous task. So these systems aren't quite what we need for truly autonomous AI agents. With real AI agents, you will be able to provide just natural language or just English and just tell these things what you want them to do. Like instead of going to ChatGPT and telling it something and it spits back text, you'll go to ChatGPT and tell it something and it'll be able to do that actual thing. You won't have to set up a bunch of API calls in an integration software, and the ability to take actions will actually be built into the AI platform like OpenAI or Anthropic or Google's AI or whatever. So in reality, real AI agents don't quite exist yet, but recently, OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, and every company building the frontier AI models have switched their focus from large language models and chatbots and are now moving on to more sophisticated models that they call reasoning-based models. And according to OpenAI and Microsoft, these reasoning-based models will be as smart as PhDs and will be able to solve real-world problems in a very reliable way like a PhD would. And if this is true, this would be an actual architecture that we could build real AI agents on top of. And this is something that is happening right now. So given that information, how fast is this actually improving? Well, if we look back in time and we look at the very first launch of ChatGPT, it was released in November 30th, 2022. That was less than 2 years ago. And from that time to a year later from there, we had GPT-4. And this was a massive improvement on the capabilities from GPT-3 to GPT-4. But remember, this GPT-4 model is still just generative AI. It's still a large language model. It's a premium chatbot. But 2 years later, after GPT-3 was launched, and 1 year later after GPT-4 was launched, we are now looking at moving away from these chatbots and having reasoning-based models, which are supposed to be as smart as the PhDs. If these reasoners happen to be as good as OpenAI and what Microsoft are saying they are, it is likely that in the next year or two, we will see agentic frameworks from OpenAI. And these will be platforms where you can go speak to the AI with human natural language in English, and they'll go take actions on behalf of you. So it's very likely in the next year or two, we will see a form of agentic general intelligence. And just a side note, the current AI capabilities that we have today are already driving cars. They're already autonomously roaming around the world in humanoid form, and they're already making decisions in virtual environments. The only piece that is actually missing here is the reliability piece, meaning they're actually reliable systems that don't make mistakes, and they're not going to be dangerous whenever going and trying to complete some tasks. So what are some long-term effects here? So with current generative AI, even though we're in the early stages, we already see heavy effects from this tech in the creatives world, the arts world, any type of people who focus on design or any of the media industries. We see very, very heavy effects just from early stages of generative AI, which are basically premium chatbots. And if we look at the image on the right here, this is actually provided by OpenAI. Here is the 5 stages of AI. There's the chatbots, the reasoners, which we are entering right now. We have the agents that we'll be going into next, the innovators, and their organizations. So now we are going into the reasoning-based models, and we'll see all information-based businesses such as education businesses, coaching businesses, consulting businesses, and all info products become massively disrupted. And we're already seeing this with companies like Chegg.com, which is like an education-based business. And they're moving towards just providing education to now providing communities as well, because you can't really disrupt just congregating people. And then finally, as we exit the reasoning-based models and we go towards the agentic models, we will see all done for you B2B services be disrupted as well. And it will become cheaper, easier, more effective, and much faster for companies to just bring those services in-house and just tell an AI to do it, because they'll be better, cheaper, faster, more effective. So here's just some long-term effects, and you can just play some thought experiments and ask yourself, well, what will there be left for humans to do? Like, massive companies will be completely disrupted. Labor, as we know it, will fundamentally change. And we just have these emergent properties and emergent capabilities as humans to create new things, to be more creative, to go seek out whatever we want to actually build. Whatever our passion is, we'll now have PhD level systems in our back pockets that can go take actions and build whatever our imagination wants to build. And this is likely to happen within the next few years from now, which is a kind of an insane phenomenon. Pulling everything back together here, I want to end this video by saying, if you found any of this insightful, or you see the possibilities that are coming in the future and you want to make sure that you can capitalize on them, or you want to make sure that you can stay relevant into the changing times that we are approaching, I have a completely free community linked below. Feel free to join. We talk about building systems with AI, building businesses that are likely to survive this revolution, and we basically just discuss with each other deep topics as to how we can leverage this to make sure we are receiving from this industrial revolution rather than being steamrolled or taken away from. So if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and join. First link in the description below.